Chapman University in California does periodic surveys of American paranormal beliefs and found 57% of Americans in 2018 believe that places can be haunted, while 56% believe that ancient advanced civilizations once existed. 41% also believed in ancient aliens. The most important result to draw attention to, though, is that 60% of the people in this survey believed in two or more of the claims presented. So let's test this out. Do people on our college campus fall to these falsehoods, or is our school doing enough to give us an edge? And why does any of this matter? I'll explain that later. We asked everyone 3 questions. What do you know about the ghost in Old Main, and do you believe it to be real?
I think it's on the 4th floor, I think, the ghost or something like that. I haven't heard about it until like this semester. But I don't know anything really about it, and I don't really believe in it.
I know that the ghost in Old Main's name is Mary. I know that there's a bunch of different theories as to how she died. I know that she's buried in the cemetery over there. I think that's all I know. I know it was a long time ago.
I believe in ghosts. I believe in the paranormal activity. I've never come across the one in Old Main, so I can't tell you much about that one, but yeah.
Mary the Ghost in Old Main is a legend that most Kutztown students know. I don't know too much about her story, but I hear that she haunts the halls of the 5th floor of Old Main. Obviously, this is a legend on campus and a part of our campus community. I 100% believe that she is there because as a political science major, I spend a lot of time in Old Main, and there is some creepy stuff that goes on, I'll tell you that. I think that she's definitely there.
Can you give any examples at all?
So one day I was walking through Old Main after I just completed a research paper. As I was walking on the 4th floor, I could have sworn that I heard footsteps above me. I looked up expecting to see Mary, but nothing was there.
From what I've known about the ghost in Old Main is a spirit named Mary, and not sure what year, but apparently a very long time ago, the day before graduation, Mary died unexpectedly. I think it was because of too much stress from studying, but her spirit is believed to now be in Old Main, I think in the 4th floor, but I've also heard rumors of having relations with a professor and just unimaginable things, but I believe the most that she died from too much stress, because that's the more common one that I've heard. I do believe it's real.
In Old Main, I know her name is Mary, and I know that she killed herself up there in the beginning of the university. And I know that it was rumored because she was failing and because she was pregnant, and if you go up to the 4th floor, you should be able to hear footsteps and stuff like that. I definitely don't think it's real because I don't believe in ghosts at all. I don't think that's a real thing, but I do love to tell my tourists that it is.
The ghost in Old Main, her name is Old Main Mary. She 110% lives in that building. She peacefully haunts the building. According to the ghost hunters from the Conjuring movie, they did come here back in the 80s to do a study on her. And then early 2000s, Virginia Paranormal also did a study on her. She peacefully haunts the building. Like I said, nobody has ever experienced any problems with her. I do believe in ghosts. I believe that she's there. There's evidence that she's there. Yeah.
Could you tell us what evidence, possibly?
The evidence I don't know. I've only saw the article, but I was too lazy to read into the article.
Okay. The second, do you believe in horoscopes, ancient aliens, or the lost city of Atlantis?
Well, horoscopes are pretty useless. They're pretty generalized, that anybody can kind of compare to them and be like, oh wow, I'm just like that. Atlantis is next? Atlantis doesn't exist. Not at all. It's just a story. It's just ancient aliens. I mean, I can't say I believe in that at all.
I think you're gonna have to repeat all of that, but I think horoscopes are interesting, but at the same time, I think all of the the zodiac signs and stuff like that, I think people take it too far sometimes. Yeah.
Lost city of Atlantis?
Lost city of Atlantis. I've never heard of that. I mean, I definitely have, but I don't know.
Not educated.
Not educated, I don't know, man.
That's how I am.
What about ancient aliens?
What do you mean ancient?
Like the History Channel, Ancient Aliens. You know.
like
Never heard of it. I've never heard of it, but I think aliens could exist, and I guess they could be ancient as well. They could exist for a long time.
Horoscopes guide a lot of what I do. I'm a big believer in the stars aligning and guiding the decisions that I make in my life. As a Scorpio born in November, I truly believe the things that it tells me. I go to the newspaper almost every single day to read what it's going to explain about my life. Sex drive is one of the biggest things for Scorpios, and that's something that I'm very passionate about. The lost city of Atlantis is another thing that I believe in. There's got to be someplace out in the middle of the ocean where a lost city has sunk. I don't know if there are mermaids there, but I definitely believe that it exists. Ancient aliens are definitely... Let me start that again. Ancient aliens definitely came to Earth at some point. If you look at the architectural and mathematic abilities of some of the ancient civilizations, there's no way that Homo sapiens were that advanced to build that. I truly believe that some extraterrestrial form came down and assisted us human beings in creating some of the world's most amazing monuments, temples, and burial sites.
One, I'm a big fan of horoscopes because I'm just kind of into that, and I do believe like it's pretty accurate when it sums up how my day is going to be or what my personality is going to be like. Because I like read into a lot of horoscope websites, and I do my research, and like I read daily horoscopes. And let's see about the lost city of Atlantis. I haven't really thought about that as much, but I would believe it's real because I believe a lot of things are real that not a lot of people would agree with me with. What was the last one?
Ancient Aliens.
Ancient aliens. Okay, now this is something I can get behind. I do believe like that aliens had something to do with like the pyramids in Egypt and like possibly Stonehenge, because personally I believe like I don't know, I just don't think it was possible for humans to carry those stones and make a whole pyramid out of it. And like Stonehenge, that's still kind of a mystery. That's just my opinion.
Horoscopes are stupid. They mean nothing. They're really fun to read, but I don't take them seriously at all. If you do, that's great for you. It's just not something I do. The lost city of Atlantis. Scientifically, I think it could be real with ocean level rise and stuff like that, but I don't think like, there's mermaids or like King Triton down there. The ocean's huge. We've only explored 5% of it, so there's definitely possibilities stuff could be down there, like the lost city of Atlantis. And ancient aliens. I also don't believe aliens are real. I don't believe they had anything to do with the pyramids. The Egyptians were really, really smart people and really well crafted, so that was all them, not aliens.
With my opinion on horoscopes, I really don't follow that. But Atlantis, it 100% existed. There's proof that it existed. All the Plato, the Socrates, all that stuff, they say it existed, they saw it. And if you look in Africa, you can see that when Africa had that huge flood that like pretty much emptied out the ocean that was in the center of Africa, you can see where the water was flowing out into the ocean. You could see in the satellite images that there was something there in the center where the water was. Plato and all them said that Atlantis was surrounded by a body of water in Africa. The water went away, so did Atlantis, and then all of the sand and stuff where the water was flowing, people have found a bunch of like swords, weapons, armor, all that stuff from Atlantis. So it definitely exists, but I don't think people want to look into it because, I don't know, maybe they're going to be scared to see what was there. Aliens, I think they 110%, I keep saying 110% exist, but they really do exist.
Ancient aliens.
Ancient aliens, yes. I believe we have had contact with aliens back in the 60s with Eisenhower, Blue Planet Project, all that stuff. JFK was assassinated by the CIA because he found out that the United States had alien contact when the nuclear bombs were sent off, because aliens researchers were looking at Earth and they saw that we were an advanced enough society to have the power to control nuclear atoms, nuclear fission, all that stuff. And so they came in contact with the U.S. and the U.S. hit it up, or covered it up, and JFK found out, got assassinated by the CIA because of it. And I do believe that aliens have been to Earth either recently, back ancient times, because if you look at all those ancient civilizations, all that stuff, they did not have the technology to precisely cut stone and all that stuff. Who did it? Aliens?
And then the third, what do you believe in terms of global warming? Are we at fault? Is it real? Let's find out what they thought.
What do I think of global warming? Well, it's definitely happening, for sure. Are we at fault? For the most part, yeah, I think we are. I mean, I think still think it's a natural occurrence, but we're speeding up the process. All right?
Yeah, humans definitely cause global warming, like 100%.
Yeah, I think we are. I think that like humans were definitely at fault for that, but we should try to change it.
So I'm actually not a big believer in global warming. If you look at the natural Earth patterns that we have experienced, there are periods of warming and cooling that have come to Earth. Right now, I believe that the Earth is in a period of natural warming. Maybe humans have contributed slightly to it speeding up, but I think generally overall, humans had very little impact.
Global warming is kind of a blurry topic for me, but I do believe that like year after year, the weather just kind of proves to us that it's just like getting a lot more, not only bipolar, but like worse or maybe better. Like you can't like think of an explanation of why it was 80 degrees one week and now it's snowing or raining or hailing. Like I do believe we are at fault in some way, shape, or form, but I'm not familiar with why, I guess.
Fair enough.
I do believe it is like a serious issue though, and it should be resolved.
Global warming is absolutely real. We absolutely cause that. The planet's surface is much, much hotter than it's ever been before. And it's a direct cause of the thinning of the ozone layer and extra greenhouse gases up in the atmosphere. So we are absolutely at fault. You got it right.
I believe we are at fault. Back in the 80s, the oil industry and stuff hit up the research about global warming and all that stuff just because they wanted money for oil and all that stuff. And now we're dealing with all the issues now because of global warming. It really is a real thing, and the government just doesn't want to do anything about it because politics is too heavily involved in something that should not involve politics.
Now, just a warning, the global warming question was just for fun. Obviously, it is happening. But back to the actual subject. In 1895, Mary S. Snyder died the day before graduation. The death, according to the Reading Eagle, was because of swelling of the brain. This simple story has since taken a life on its own with many different versions, and just as many reasons to justify her ghostly existence also persist. And there's no verifiable proof for there being a ghost, and even those who believe in the ghost know that, as we've seen. And yes, the Warrens did pay a visit to Kutztown in 1991, but they also have been making completely unverifiable claims their entire careers, so their, quote, expertise can be ignored. Regardless, this whole belief is a red flag in how many people on campus are ignoring the importance of actual proof. In the end, people on our campus unsurprisingly believe in this folklore. So, this means we're also bound to believe other falsehoods. It gets worse when asking about Atlantis and ancient aliens because there are actual moral implications to these beliefs. So, as seen, we are not above believing in these falsehoods on campus, despite the school supposedly teaching us the skills to tell fact from fiction. So let's take it from the top. You have all these shows and other outlets telling you there's proof of ancient aliens and of the lost city of Atlantis. Like the films Chariots of the Gods, you have the show Ancient Aliens, and you also have the news outlets New Dawn and Ancient American. But all they do is push the same information and blend fact with fiction. They appropriate ancient achievements to perfect or alien civilizations. They simply discredit these people that actually did these things. So you have to wonder, why might they be doing this? And the answer is there. It actually comes down to racism. And now you might be thinking, okay, this is nuts, what am I talking about? But taking a look at just two of the most well-known advocates for these facts, really shows that it is racist. So, von Daniken is one of the most promising of the advocates for ancient aliens. He wrote the book Chariots of the Gods before it was turned into a film, and he's also a guest on History Channel's Ancient Aliens. However, the book that he published, Chariots of the Gods, was actually rewritten by a former Nazi who was the editor for the Nazi Party's national newspaper from the 1920s until the end of World War II. And von Daniken, he was okay with this reworked book of his. And then there's also the former editor and now correspondent for Ancient American, who actually formed a Nazi party in the United States in the 1970s. So you see, these are not just skeptical inquiries. There are dire and unknown implications to these stories. These people, they push seemingly innocent stories, but these ancient civilizations, they're undermining them, and usually these ancient civilizations are not white. So it makes you wonder, is this racist? And yeah, it is. And this is why I'm concerned about our false beliefs and how believing in just one can lead to believing in a bunch of others that are actually harmful.